I want to read to you today from Matthew 13, which is a parable that you're probably fairly familiar with. It's the parable of the sower, and this is how it begins. That same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, "A farmer went out to sow his seed." That means to plant. As he was scattering the seeds, some fell along the path, and the birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. He who has ears, let him hear. That means we better listen up. Now, Jesus told a lot of stories and a lot of parables, and there's a few reasons for that. One thing is it's a lot easier to listen to stories. It's a lot easier to remember the stories. But there's another reason, I think, as well. Jesus wants us to pursue truth. He wants us to go after him and form this relationship with him to try to find out what the truth is. And those who just heard the story and thought, nice story, and walked away, didn't really care enough to go seek out Jesus and find the truth. And those who aren't interested in finding the truth aren't going to find it. Now, the disciples wanted to know the truth, and so they asked Jesus, well, what does this mean? And Jesus explained it to them. He said in verse 18, "Listen then to what the parable of the sower means. When anyone hears the message about the kingdom and does not understand it, the evil one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is the seed sown along the path." And unfortunately, we probably all know somebody who hears the good news and just chooses not to believe it. The one who received the seed that fell on rocky places is the man who hears the word and at once receives it with joy. But since he has no root, he lasts only a short time. When trouble or persecution comes because of the word, he quickly falls away. And maybe you know somebody who, when time gets tough, they just seem to walk away from the faith. Verse 22 says, "The one who received the seed that fell among the thorns is the man who hears the word, but the worries of this life and the deceitfulness of wealth choke it, making it unfruitful." What's interesting to me there is that it's not just trouble, but it's also wealth. It's prosperity that sometimes drives us away from the truth. And verse 23 says, "But the one who received the seed that fell on good soil is the man who hears the word and understands it. He produces a crop yielding 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown." And I pray that that's who you are, that you're someone who hears the word, you hear the truth, the good news about Jesus, and you choose to believe it, and you spread it. You tell others, and your life is changed. And when people see the change in your life, they want to know this truth as well.